Hello and welcome
Good.
to this podcast episode where I don't have too much of a plan, but me and actually I'll
It's
let you
okay.
introduce yourself.
Katinka.
Katika.
Yes, thank you. I'm Katinka. I know it's a bit of a difficult name to pronounce, so I will definitely forgive you for that. You can call me Kat if that's easier. I am a consciousness coach based in the Netherlands and very active with that. So I work with the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and I help growth-driven, growth-minded people. I always call them usually entrepreneurs or people that want to take a big step in their career to do that with confidence. And we met in Skool, where I have a community, and we've had a chat before. I'm very excited to see where this conversation will take us.
Yes, I'm very excited. And I think the theme for today we're talking about is like authenticity, sort of being yourself and how it I've noticed it leads to a lot of self-improvement. They're like connected.
Yes.
And like identity and like creating the identity of you, this version of yourself you want to become and be that we're like working towards. 'Cause in my experience, I've found that identity is built and not found.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where we left off in our last conversation a little bit. Like, is there a collaboration between identity and authenticity? Do you need one to find the other or to become the other? Which I thought was an interesting question and left me thinking a little bit about the topic as well.
Yeah, if we consider the question like the relationship between authenticity and identity. So is the practice of being authentic showing off our identity? I don't know if that feels quite right. It's my first thought, but I don't know if it's quite right.
Maybe it's a showing off wording. Hectic, I think, because you don't need to show off. I think that's exactly the point of living with that authenticity, is that it doesn't feel like you need to show off something anymore.
Right.
You don't have to be somebody anymore, which is a feeling that a lot of us have growing up, finding our identities.
Yeah.
And pursuing that life of living in authenticity, I would say, and that can burn you out quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and there's this old, piece of advice is, just be yourself. But I find this advice so frustrating.
Just be yourself.
Yeah, because it implies we A, know who we are, and B, there's valid arguments for some people who, shouldn't just be themselves. They're kind of, not good people. So, why would you tell them to be themselves when they could be better? And, we all could be better. We're all constantly trying to improve and be this idealized best version of ourselves, or I guess we could be. I guess the people in our space are anyway.
Or at least trying to.
Yeah, I mean, the striving is the goal, right? Because the goal, you're never going to achieve perfection. Many of us try desperately to achieve perfection, but we're never going to.
It's one of the bigger frustrations, I feel like, people in our sphere of the personal development, personal growth struggle with, because perfection is the idea of at some point you will be perfect, so you will be there.
Yeah, and then you can be okay. Then I'll be enough.
Then you got it. Yeah, and that's always, it just leaves you chasing. And if we, circle back to that living in authenticity, then there is no chasing there. There's just being. And there is the question of how do I become that? It's something that with my clients, we end up in that conversation fairly quickly, I would say, in all when I start a coaching route with somebody, because it is always that, who am I and how do I figure that out? And then at the same time, I see that people are afraid to lose the idea that they have right now of who I am. It's something that people that start therapy or start working with a psychologist also struggle with a lot. Right now, maybe I'm not happy, maybe life's not perfect, but at least I know where I am.
Right.
And I'm changing that or starting that journey of becoming yourself.
Right.
But that can be scary as well, because we don't know.
Yeah,
and what if I don't like myself? That's something people...
often the first step to changing yourself is acknowledging that we don't like our current selves.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Which is always, first step's always the hardest.
Yeah, and not liking yourself. And because that's something, maybe a reassuring thing. I've went through this journey myself a few times and with a lot of my clients.
Right.
if you become yourself, as soon as you figure that out, if you start living, it's not really knowing what is there, it's more of a feeling when you start noticing, I'm living in authenticity, every day I'm taking these steps and I'm becoming more and more. You will always like yourself, you will always love yourself, because it is who you are, it's who you're programmed, if we look at it from a more of a neuroscience perspective. If you look at it from more of a spiritual perspective, there is just that becoming who you are supposed to be. So you will absolutely love yourself, and it's the resistance of trying to be something or somebody that is the painful thing in our day-to-day life. That's the dislike, or the, how do you call it, the resistance that you can feel every day.
Yeah, the discomfort.
Discomfort, yeah.
Yeah, so there's this process I've noticed. I'm curious what you make of this, where it's like when we're like trying to become someone or a person or an identity, right? There's this like process we go through where first we try to be this person, but in doing so, trying means that we're not doing. Do or do not, there is no try. But if we try, then we're not doing.
My little office helper here would agree with you.
Yeah. Right? But I think it's actually an important step. The first step is we try and we don't do, because there is like this internal resistance, this battle to doing the thing. And then the next step is actually doing the thing. But we can do the thing without being the kind of person who does the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the step after that is from doing to being. If we do the thing enough, we become the kind of person who does the thing. And then it becomes our identity by doing it enough and building that evidence.
So there's this, what you're describing is a certain learning process. And I also think that discomfort of starting to become something, or that can be yourself, there is a lot of discomfort there. And usually that's not even our own discomfort. Things that are in our subconscious mind that come up, like, okay, now I'm going to decide that I will wear orange glasses and a top hat every day. And then the first few weeks, there's still that discomfort of, okay, if I go to the supermarket like this, will somebody think something of me? Will somebody maybe not like me? Will they think I'm stupid? Will they think, it's all these things which are old programs that will come up. So that actually has nothing to do with your identity, but still that society that's influencing you, or a social circle, parents have a big part in that usually.
Right.
So that's still old programs that come up, which I agree with you. You have to keep doing it so then you can become something, and that is usually yourself. But the discomfort will disappear because at some point you will get through these programs. That's more of a growing pain, I would say, of learning your instinctive, your part of your brain as well has to learn, if I do this, maybe some people will laugh, maybe some people will love it. Either way, it will not change me. It does not influence who I am, who I want to be. But we have to learn that, especially growing up in the society as it is. We learn a lot of things like still be quiet, listen, don't cry, don't scream. All these things that we learn are a part of that. So yeah, I agree with you in the way that process is working. I think I actually also agree with you on the identity part, because you can choose authenticity. You can choose that as well. You can make that decision every day. My community is called the Reinvention Project because I see it as a reinvention every single day. You can get up and decide, today I'm going to wear pink glasses, and there's nobody that can stop you. And that can be your new identity. And I think we should be allowed to do that. You make a decision, or when you make the decision to be whoever you want to be today, that can be something completely different. And people are very afraid to change their opinions, to change their insights, which also stops you from continuously growing. So get comfortable with that discomfort, I would definitely say. And it is always learning curve, and there's growth pains involved in that. So it can be challenging, but it becomes easier as well.
One of the things I've heard is that the pain is the growth, right? Like, if you're inside your comfort zone, you're not growing and you don't encounter discomfort. Once you step outside of the comfort zone, that is where discomfort lives, and that is where growth is.
Yeah, exactly. And it will never be okay, or it will never feel okay, because your brain doesn't want
might get brought into the comfort zone, but there's always an edge to the comfort zone.
Yeah, and you need to live on that edge.
Yeah.
Because if you're not growing, you're dying. There's just those two options in life. There's something I've also learned that become comfortable with that discomfort, and you will learn where it is still okay and where it is actually too much of a challenge or you're working against yourself, because we can definitely overdo things in life. There's limits to everything, but you need to start recognizing where am I in this specific type of discomfort, which is actually means I'm about to take a next step in my life, and start getting excited about that, because otherwise you will be where you are. There's nothing fun happening. And that's what I wanted to say. Your brain will never be okay with this. Because every time you're about to learn something new, our brains don't know will I still be safe then? Will I still have my income? Will I still have food on the table? Will I still be alive? Literally, that's what your brain thinks. Will I still be alive?
At the root of all fear is death. If you dig down deep enough on any fear, it's death. And most of the time it's social isolation, which to our brains equals death.
Yeah. As well, yeah, because we are that. What's the word for it? We live in a pack, right? We're supposed to
social
live
animals,
in a pack as human beings. Yeah. So how was that for you, if I can ask?
Yeah, that was very interesting, very informative.
To at some point make that decision of, now I am gonna take this crazy step of wearing something orange or wearing that top hat everywhere I go.
And I think it is changing your relationship with that discomfort zone. Because that's what I've noticed has been my biggest shift. Because like for the longest time, before I started this whole self-improvement thing like a year or so ago, I was just coasting, doing the bare minimum, just like doing what society told me I should be doing. Get the degree, go to college, get the job, get the wife. And it's like, okay, I'm here now. I was promised happiness and fulfillment. And I am like, it's the fulfillment piece that was really missing, right? It's like, why are we doing, where's the like meaning behind it? And then like, the search for meaning is like digging into yourself, and it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable. Oh no, look at all this unpleasantry. And it's leaning into that discomfort, leaning into the unknown, the question marks, the discomfort and unknown. And it's a continual process, because I'm still not like comfortable. I'll still like fight myself and be like, I don't want to do the comments. I don't want to go on this call. I don't want to. But I'll be like, but that's the thing. That means that you're going in the right direction. My favorite analogy for this comes from video games. If you find enemies in front of you, it means you're going in the right direction.
Right, yeah. You're about to enter that dungeon where the treasure is.
Right. And the harder the enemies get, the deeper and the more, rewards and benefits and stuff. It's like, you just keep going towards harder enemies. And they never get easier. They just keep getting harder. You get stronger, but they keep getting harder.
That's true. I like that analogy. And you do get stronger. I think I've lost my identity, like my complete identity, at least twice now. I would say definitely twice, and maybe parts of it along the way. And those were the most painful moments in my life. Like, I can still be sad even thinking about what I had to go through. But then looking at myself today, I'm like, okay, it's always going to be worth it. And the biggest changes happen when we don't have any choice in it. So that's what happened to me, becoming very ill, COVID and all that stuff, almost losing my business, almost losing everything, but also that big part of my identity where I wasn't able to work, so I wasn't able to coach. I couldn't help any of my friends or family because I could barely walk to the end of my room. So everybody had to come over, take care of me. Horrible. But then also big learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
And recovering from that, now I'm like, that was such a good experience as well. It made me so aware of all, the love and the gratitude that I can have for this social circle around me. It was a good cleanup as well of the social circle, because in those situations, only the really good people are left over, which luckily were a lot for me. But then also revisiting my whole identity, because I got to rebuild it all. So I got to, with help from physical therapists and mental health therapists, and get to have a look at myself again, like, okay, now that we're rebuilding you, who do you want to be? Are you still even, sometimes we think we lost ourselves, but we didn't. But making that conscious decision, and that was a very refreshing experience, but also made me think, like, why does this need to happen to me for me to actually even do that? I could have done it all that time, could have done that a decade ago. And that's kind of what I want to do now with people, like, you are allowed to do this. You don't have to become ill. You don't have to, get divorced and lose your house, or all these hectic life-changing events we can go through. You can just do it today.
Yeah, this seems to be the unfortunate truth I've noticed, because it's the same story for me, right? Like, I was coasting for 10 years, and then like several earth-shattering, like life, like upheaval events happened to me in the
Five
same year,
dragons.
right? And it's like, okay, well, I just got to rebuild. It all got torn down, so now we gotta build it back up. And over the last year, I'm like, I look back at pictures of myself from a year ago. I'm like, who is that guy? I I don't know who that guy is. I mean, I remember him, but like, it's not me no
Yeah.
more.
It's crazy, yeah? So you're then proud if you look back, because that's what I keep having.
Yeah,
Like, Jesus.
yeah. And it's like, it's weird because I look back on like the last year, which, by some objective metrics would be like the worst year of my life. But I'm like, but it forged me into the best person that I am now. So I'm like, kind of can't, like, I wouldn't like undo it, which is weird to say because it was like,
Yeah.
not, I wouldn't, no, it's not good. But it's interesting because, yeah, it almost seems like that's somewhat necessary for like a transition. And I see a lot of people trying to help people achieve that transition without the need for a catastrophic failure, which I agree is absolutely possible.
Yes.
But it seems like we're so averse to change unless it's like thrust upon us for some reason.
Yeah. It's that survival mechanism.
Yeah, yeah.
Your brain will stop it at all costs, like complete identity shift or changes that are that big. You hear it with everybody that has gone through that, like to the root of your identity, and then come out, and you recognize these people, or every time you see them, it's the same thing I had with you. I'm like, oh, there's just something there. You can feel when somebody had that shift and is actually living in their true identity now, with all that authenticity that just drips off of you.
Right.
It's something that a lot of people want, and I never say impossible, but very difficult to achieve that without a live event happening, which is for good reason as well, because that would, for a lot of people, also mean that you have to throw out your whole life as it is. But if there's already, marriage there or children, or if there's a lot set already, to control all the leisure life is quite
Right.
difficult. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody.
Right. But then when you have a massive upheaval that happens, the opportunity presents itself for you to
Yeah.
reinvent yourself because you sort of need to anyway
Yeah.
as the environment and situation change.
And I think if I'm just secretly analyzing my clients now as well, but I think a lot of people that I work with have had that situation, but for some it's just a little while ago, and only now they are trying to, or they realize, like, I need to do something differently because otherwise I will never have that happiness or that missing link in life, right? And sometimes that crazy life event has already happened, you try to rebuild, but you just know that this is not the way anymore. So that's also good to have a look at that. How have you built your life and what parts do you want to change? Then you can still end up at that same point of authenticity and living within your true identity, and also getting loose of people around you, because we want to live in that pack. That also means that you need to be a part of that, so that will influence a part of your identity always.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how you
This is a
view
key
that.
aspect. This is actually, yeah, you're right. This is a key aspect. And like, actually, one of the things for me, authenticity is a means to get connections with my people. That's what I get out of it. Because yes, we are social creatures, and ultimately what we're looking for is our tribe. We want our people. If we have our little group, very little can shake us. Like, a group of humans is one of the most resilient things in the universe. Like, truly. Like,
It's
any
insane what we can do.
individual's pretty weak and not, but like a group of humans working together is one of the scariest forces in the universe.
I agree with you.
And if you can find your people, what's stopping you from, like, achieving whatever you want?
Yeah, definitely. And that can also only happen if you have to start with yourself, to start looking for your own identity and what makes me who I am, and start living that, like we just discussed, go through that growth pain, and then you don't have to look for your people. They will find you, or
Yeah.
people find each other.
Yeah.
It's crazy, even
It
in an
works
online
out.
platform.
Yeah.
Like on Skool, it's like we just keep bumping into each other, and then
Absolutely.
I meet you in one group, and all of a sudden you're in all the groups I'm in. I'm like, how
Right.
do we keep
It's like,
keep
oh,
ending
look.
up at the same?
Funny how
Yeah.
that works.
Again, it works again. So, Yeah, because then you just start attracting, that's a bit more of the spiritual side of the whole story, is just start attracting like-minded people, but also people that live in their same identity or live with authenticity, because they will not try to change you. So that's also a different, it's almost different lifestyle that people have if they found that click in themselves, or that's at least my experience, that they will never try to change anybody else anymore, because you know that it's so powerful, so you let everybody be. Doesn't mean that you have to agree with anybody, doesn't mean that everybody is now going to be your best friend. There are still people where I'm like,
Yeah.
not my kind of person,
And like
I would
one of the things about being
yeah.
authentic is that it pushes the wrong people away.
Yeah, also yeah.
Actively. And that's one of, actually, I think the benefits of it is that, yeah, there are people who are not your people, and you just don't want to engage with them, so why put any effort into that with them? Like, that's not worth it.
It's not always.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, where does that leave us?
I don't know. In roughly the same place we always leave it is, the journey is self-improvement. Growth is always there. The journey is never over. But it gets easier, and there's some pretty cool people you'll meet along the way.
And just enjoy it.
Yeah, have fun.
That's what I always tell people. Yeah. Just enjoy it. Have fun. Laugh at yourself as well, because if you go on a personal development journey, you will do stupid things.
And we live, like, the world is ridiculous. The universe is a strange, crazy place that makes no sense. The universe is under no rule to make sense to you. So, by whatever means that this thing works, have fun with it. Enjoy it. And
enjoy the ride.
Take it a little less seriously, people. Like, it's gonna be.
Yeah. Also, I think that is very important. Don't take yourself so seriously, but also don't take life so seriously.